It's erect again. I mean, it's straight up. I mean, Zugi Zort, thank you for the 10 gift subs. I was having technical difficulties that were driving me crazy. So you'll have to forgive the utter silence because I guess it doesn't have to be utter silence, but goddamn. I was using DeskFlow for sharing mouse and keyboard, and for some reason, this time it just didn't work. It was not happy, and I was fighting with that. And I have this wireless keyboard for interfacing with my Jesus Christ, what was that? Previous, thank you for the biddies. I have this wireless keyboard, but it's like she fidget on your balls till they click clack. Kind of obnoxious to use. Hmm. Okay. And we're gonna enjoy this. Can you hear the soundtrack? Bellament, thank you for 134 months. Barely. What about now? Okay. Good, good, good. Appreciate it because it was a pain in the ass. To be honest, I don't think we would want it to be very loud. How are we doing this evening? How's it going? What's up? What's happening? Screaming at a dumb NPM package. My latter third of my day was not dissimilar. I was wrestling with trying to use a particular npm package myself. It was really pissing me off. So who did the cool work? Oh no, but legend. Watched both last week. Nice, nice. You crammed. Nothing wrong with cramming. Well, I guess we can get started with Dark Star here. Where do I even begin? I had a lot of thoughts. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this was a rough watch. To the degree where it's like it had me thinking like, did they not know how to make movies yet in the 70s, or what happened here? Like 1974 didn't seem that far back. When did Alien come out? 1979. That's what I thought. Massive leaps in just 5 years. I don't know. It's bad. It's really really bad. Very very slowly paced, but it's interesting. You can see you can sort of see the DNA of Carpenter in there. A funny little tidbit that I noticed is that when they pull the info for the actors, their glamour shots are literally just screenshots from the film because these guys don't exist. Like they didn't. This wasn't the platform that launched them into incredible acting careers. This was basically the one thing that they did before doing nothing else. I'm not familiar with Dan O'Bannon. Should I be? He's the writer. Oh, fucking Dan O'Bannon. Duh. Shit. He wrote Alien? That's that's nuts. Well, I don't know what happened with this then. Maybe we'll find out. I did try my best to just appreciate what I could. Um, John Carpenter hates Dan O'Bannon. Okay. Like the soundtrack kind of made me think of Metroid 2. It made me wonder if maybe somehow
She fitted on
Metroid
your balls till
2
they click clack.
took some inspiration there. It's got a kind of haphazard quality about it.
Oh, are you doing shitty movie review time?
They're not always shitty.
You
Just
know
because
what I
they're shitty
meant.
to you.
You know what I meant.
I am talking about a shitty one right now.
Fine, unconventionally popular. How about
Unconventionally popular. What does that even mean?
that?
That's an oxymoron. Unconventionally popular?
It works.
No,
It
no,
does.
no. That's oil and water.
No. Cult films are not inherently popular.
Okay. I guess that's unconventionally popular. I mean, they're not popular is really what is the way I would see it. These aren't cult films either, necessarily.
Not necessarily, but the general thing of what you're going with, or I
There's
feel like
really
that.
not that. It's not that. Like, we watched RoboCop last time. RoboCop is basically a well-known, it was a successful film. It's not a cult movie.
Eh,
I mean, it isn't. Yeah, it was a mega blockbuster, basically. It was
no, I
super
know.
successful.
Just I don't
I know.
like. Anyway, I'm gonna have a cuddle pile with the dogs.
All right.
Hmm.
No, no, no. Dark Star is bad. Um, it's it's just not very entertaining. Um, a lot of it was I was kind of astonished that this was like a film at all. The characters were extremely unpleasant, just very unpleasant. The whole like slapstick thing with the alien, whatever that was bad. I did it in one session somehow. Um, the acting was absolutely god awful. Just terrible. We're not going to witch hunt the recommender of these films. It's not, it's fine to recommend something that isn't great. We're here to just talk about it and talk about why. We're not here to vilify. And also, I'm not here to hate on it. I'm not hating on it. It's just, I'm just giving my like genuine take on this. Yeah, we did a Carpenter double feature here. And I'm a fan of Carpenter's stuff in the general case, but so far we haven't really touched on the things that I do like from Carpenter. I mean, we have well, we'll get to that. The thing is I hadn't seen In the Mouth of Madness, but we're going to talk about that after we're done with Dark Star here. Um, something I was thinking about a lot while I was watching it was its timeline of when this came out. As I already brought up, Alien, forgetting the Dan O'Bannon connection here, but I was also thinking about stuff like Star Wars, Yeah, the original Star Wars came out 3 years later, which is insane. That's insane. Um, Obviously, the production values were just not in the same galaxy. But there was still something kind of charming about some of this space effects stuff that I kind of enjoyed. Um, I actually laughed my ass off at the what was it supposed to be, like an asteroid storm? Uh, a little, yeah, a little bit of a budget difference. Yeah, magnetic asteroid storm. uh, but overall, I would just say that the vibes were off-putting. They were off-putting. This surprises me here. I could maybe see if you were watching it with a bunch of friends that you could definitely laugh at it. Um, but yeah, the vibes are generally off-putting about it. Like just because like none of the characters are likable. The most likable character maybe was the guy in the bubble the whole movie. The guys you spend most of the time with are awful. The dialogue was just terrible. So the frozen guy, that was the most interesting thing that the film had actually. Yeah, that was the captain who had died. Apparently they had him frozen. No, he was dead. But also they had the technology apparently to get the brain cooking enough to do some communicating. I don't know. It kind of felt like there was essentially some sort of undercurrent of like dark comedy to this, but that just falls flat over and over and over again. There's a lot of stuff that feels like if it were in the hands of somebody who knew what they were doing, it would have been funny. But like the idea, the whole conversation with the dead captain seemed like it was supposed to um, be funny, but it just did not land. You could kind of feel it throughout that dialogue. Um, and another thing that was really prominent while watching this for me was I have trouble getting into older films. I mean, for various reasons, a lot of it is pacing. Um, but this is one of those ones where it it feels like there's no character motivations. Like the stuff that you're shown and the choices that the characters make almost feel like in every shot it's like they're spawning out of nothing, like they have no motivational momentum or anything. It's just like I guess a lack of coherence across the whole script throughout the story. Do you know what I'm driving at? Like it lacks coherence in a sort of general way. And every choice that all of these guys make throughout the thing feels kind of nonsensical. Yeah, that one guy randomly shooting, like what was that about? Or when they're in the fucking I guess the sort of makeshift barracks that they had, and the one guy decides to be annoying, I guess. I don't know. He gets out the glasses and gets over in the other guy's face, and then he gets out the chicken and he gets like within 1 inch of the other guy, and the other guy just loses his mind, which I guess is a reasonable response to a weirdo fuck like that when you're trapped in a tin can in space. I don't know. It just, yeah, random, random, random. I had that thought, Dav, that like maybe it was supposed to be kind of space madness, but it's not conveyed well because it's just madness from the start to the finish. Also, what was this side plot where Pinback is not Pinback and he's was like, what was he like, a was he supposed to be like a double agent, or was he supposed to be like a mechanic that got trapped on the ship and then just was like just stuck for the whole mission, or what the fuck was that supposed to be? It popped up towards the end of the film and then it just didn't have anything to do with anything. Like, I guess it was supposed to explain a little bit like why Pinback is the way he is, but then there was nothing leading into it, and then it had no consequence after. Like very shortly after, he just gets blown up. Like, that's another thing, is the end of the film really feels like they got to a point where they're like, we better end this thing. And they just did. Actually, I think maybe the only thing that I really, really liked was the ending. And I liked the weird computer and the sentient bombs. That had me going every time that came up. I was like, why are they fucking, why can they think? What is this about? Why can they talk? Why do you have to argue with the bomb? Yeah. Well, yeah, so the ending also felt very fucking 70s of like, hey everybody, none of the rest of this made sense, but this guy's surfing on a piece of debris down to the planet. Smoke him if you got him. Yeah. They could have made maybe an art film, just a shorter, maybe compress it down to like half an hour, keep most of that ending, and just basically have the setup of explaining like why they're in space, what the bombs are for, and then basically just kind of glide right into the ending from there. And you could have had like a little art film, and that would have been, I would have called that good. Oh yeah, why is it that everybody has? You're not allowed to see out of your space helmet. It's fucking, the neck part is like bridge of your nose height. What were they thinking with that? When I first saw that, I was like, what's going on? Does he not have his suit fully on? Is he gonna fix that? No, that's how they were designed. Oh, very funny. Oh, the props department had 20 minutes to make the suit. Well, speaking of trivia, why don't we learn a little bit about what the hell happened here? Dark Star is a 1974 American independent science fiction comedy film. So, okay, this was intended to be a comedy. They missed. Oh, you read it as, I understand now. That was your take. I mean, I believed it instantaneously based off of how it looked. They truly missed on all accounts, yeah. It follows the crew of the deteriorating starship Dark Star 20 years into their mission. Like basically it's very dry humor, you know. I had the sense that that was sort of there the whole time, but it just doesn't fucking ever land. Oh yeah. this fucking 70s ass song in the soundtrack as well, along with all the like insane synth stuff, was such a fucking thing. Have I been to Benson? No. Yeah, dry Looney Tunes. I gotta agree. So it actually started as a student film. Made it to the theaters in 75. Supposedly cost $60,000. It was received well by critics somehow and stayed in theaters for 5 fucking years. That's madness. Wow. So this was the debut of Carpenter and O'Bannon. Benson, Arizona. I know, yeah. They don't. Well, I mean, everything's different now, right? It used to be a fucking movie would come out in theaters, and then you would have to wait like a year for it to come out on tape so you could have it at home. And this was before really um, that was even a thing. As this says here, the home video revolution of the 1980s helped it become cult status. But, you know, this probably wouldn't have come out until the fucking mid 80s. But now, you know, with all the streaming services and everything, movies are basically shit out onto the streaming services within, I don't know, what, a month? Do they wait very long now? I don't really keep track of that shit, to be honest. Apparently, according to Peter Bradshaw in 2011 and Natasha Tripney in 2024. Who knows? Um, Pinback plays practical jokes. Uh huh. Beach ball like? It was a beach ball. It was very obviously a beach ball. It had the. It had everything a beach ball has. It did not look like a fucking alien in any way. Yeah, the seams. I mean, they did close ups on it. Wow, don't denigrate Metroids this way. But yeah, I had Metroid on my mind throughout this fucking film for whatever reason. Partly because of the soundtrack, like I mentioned. Um, yeah. I mean, we know the plot. There's not much to it. Oh my god, he looked like this in 2011? He must look like the fucking guy from the end of The Last Crusade by now. Special effects. O'Bannon created many of the special effects. It's fucking wild to go from Dark Star to Alien. Basically, like, to go from Beach Ball Alien to nailing the concept of an alien so hard that nothing really ever topped it. Oh my god, is this the first ever? Huh. This is wild. These are things I would not have guessed. He didn't design the alien, but he was the writer or one of the writers. Wasn't there two guys? But I mean, it's more than just Giger's design. Obviously, Giger's design is a huge part of why it is so good. But the whole like story and everything about it is like fucking on point. That's cool. Man, if I still lived in Arizona and was interesting, I'd take a little road trip out there to just go visit Dark Star Road. Oh, okay. I watched the director's cut then. How awful. That portion goes on for so long and it's so boring. It's so long and boring. Good God. The ultimate cosmic comedy. Wow. While greeted enthusiastically by the crowd at Filmex, the film was not well received upon its initial theatrical release. Carpenter O'Bannon reported nearly empty theaters and little reaction to the humor in the movie. Fantastic. Amazing. Quentin Tarantino called the film a masterpiece. Uh, an early review from Variety, recalled by Carpenter as the first bad review I got, described the film as a limp parody of Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey that warrants attention only for some remarkably believable special effects achieved with very little money. After its re-release in 1979, Roger Ebert gave the movie 3 stars out of 4, writing, "Dark Star is one of the damnedest science fiction movies I've ever seen. A berserk combination of space opera, intelligent bombs, and beach balls from other worlds." Oh my God, they were starving for content back then. A loopy 2001 satire. Crazy. Influence. The beach ball with claws segment of the film was reworked by O'Bannon into the science fiction horror film Alien. Are you fucking joking? Are you kidding? Are you? I'm losing my mind. This isn't real. This isn't real. After witnessing audiences failing to laugh at parts of Dark Star which were intended as humorous, O'Bannon commented, "If I can't make them laugh, then maybe I can make them scream." Oh, holy shit. It's responsible for Red Dwarf as well? I'm losing my mind, dude. What's happening? It was an inspiration for Red versus Blue and Metal Gear. I'm fucking dying, dude. This shit isn't real. This shit isn't real. Like I knew Hideo liked Carpenter's movies. Like particularly referencing fucking Escape movies with Snake Plissken and all that stuff. But Dark Star as well. uh hey, where are you at? Was it you, Pubs? Pinback is directly related. It's literally taken from Sergeant Pinback. This is madness. Oh, this as well? Jesus Christ. Pinbacker. I don't know if y'all have seen that. Sunshine's okay. Man, this is absolute madness. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind right now. Let's check out the trivia. The double rows of large buttons on the bridge are ice cube trays illuminated from beneath. The space helmets used were part of Ideal Toys' Star Team toy line. Well, there you go. They didn't even spend 20 minutes. Produced from 1968 to 1971, the helmets are obviously sized for children, as is evidenced by the poor fit on the actors' heads. The idea to deep freeze the dead, Commander Powell, and be able to speak to their half-living souls through an electronic device is inspired by short sci-fi short stories and novels by Philip K. Dick in such works as What Dead Men Say or Ubik. The frost, the radio tuning, and the clouded, feeble, and fainting thoughts are exactly as described by Dick. Interesting. Ah, yeah, Total Recall and Screamers. Are those on our list? A computer screen flashes "Fuck you, Harris" during the film. This was a message directed toward Jack H. Harris, the producer, who annoyed director John Carpenter during production. Supposedly, the offensive sentence was his revenge, but many people have a hard time finding it. Okay, I mean, I don't remember this. I think they should be listed. I mean, they fit right in with the shit we've been watching here. Co-writer Dan O'Bannon later reused the alien mascot section of the film as the basis of a script he called Star Beast. Due to the low budget of Dark Star, the alien was clearly a beach ball that could only be played for comedy. But O'Bannon felt that with a proper budget, the premise... Oh, by the way, I will say one flash of creativity that I thought was actually pretty good, kind of impressive, was when he goes into the room where they were keeping this beach ball alien. There were those lights that I didn't realize were supposed to also be aliens until he yells at them to back off and they move away. And I just thought that that was actually kind of cool. And then it was back to, oh God, this sucks. But that was a little moment of light. Ah, shit. Well, you know what I mean. The alien was clearly a beach ball that could only be played for comedy, but O'Bannon felt that with a proper budget, the premise of an alien creature stalking the crew of a spaceship could work as a genuinely tense movie. As luck would have it, directors Alejandro Jodorowsky and Ridley Scott had both seen and liked Dark Star and employed O'Bannon and designer Ron Cobb in projects that would finally lead to O'Bannon's screenplay being filmed as Alien. Finally, dude, that was just 5 years later. Well, less than, because that's when it came out, was 5 years later. I've never seen the Total Recall remake. I think it was one of those things where I just assumed it would be awful and stayed away. Same for the RoboCop remake. However, if I would have thought that about Judge Dredd, I would have been wrong. Fortunately, I watched Dredd and I love it. Cookie Knapp got the computer voice gig because she answered the phone for cinematographer Douglas Knapp, and John Carpenter loved the sound of her voice. Talby's spacesuit chest plate is made from a muffin tray. The bombs are made from an HO scale piggyback trailer kit and parts of 1/25th scale model car kits. Matra, the name of the car, can be seen on some parts in some shots. Many of the props used in the production are clearly household items, such as ice cube trays, parts of modeling kits, vacuum cleaner hoses, and tinfoil. If you take a close look at the jetpacks, they're clearly made of packing polystyrene. Holy shit. The final release of the film was shot in 3 separate stages, each done months or years apart. The initial USC student film was filmed in late 1970, early 1971, and included the first bomb drop. Talby in the dome speaking with Doolittle, Talby fixing the communications laser. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think I'm that interested in the details here. This is a lot of just dry. Here's the stuff. Sergeant Pinback's video diary is an 8-track tape, and the machine he uses to read it and record it is a microfiche reader. None of that makes any sense. We had what would have been the world's most impressive student film, and it became the world's least impressive professional film. John Carpenter later made a director's cut that was 10 minutes shorter than the theatrical release. Oh, O'Bannon and John Carpenter did that. Apparently. The film takes place in 2150. The knife trick performed... Oh, I was wondering about this. Performed by Boiler is paid homage to years later in Aliens. Yeah, that came to mind. Except for I didn't realize the alien connection while I was witnessing it. Okay, they're just saying that's the connection. I thought they were going to... Because it looked like he genuinely maybe cut himself. I wasn't sure if they were using a fake knife or not. Indie rock band Pinback took their name from the character Sergeant Pinback and have sampled the movie in several songs, including Sergeant Pinback's line of dialogue, "I do not belong on this mission and I want to return to Earth." Okay, I think we're running out of things that are interesting here. Let's watch the trailer, shall we? Oh God, I have to get my other keyboard and pause the soundtrack. One moment, please. One moment. All right, let's watch this trailer.
It is the future. Mankind has conquered the stars. He moves out to the endless interstellar reaches of the universe. An advanced exploration corps, a new breed of pioneer, must seek out unstable planets and destroy them.
Also, why are they doing that? That's never explained.
And you are on the mission of the 21st century planet smashers. Dark Star. 20 years in space, 1 million light years from Earth. Their job is to clear a path for the colonization of space.
Back home in Malibu. I used to surf a lot, Talby. I used to be a great surfer.
Travel in an infinite universe with mind-melting excitement from beyond the stars.
Computer to bomb number 20. Return to the bomb bay immediately.
But I have received the operational signal.
Hello, Bob? Are you with me?
I wish I had more time.
Why don't you have more time?
Because I must detonate.
This is cut so weird.
I must detonate.
Commander Powell. Commander Powell, this is Doolittle. Can you hear me?
Man, what happened, man?
Is this the real trailer?
Hey, Bob.
Confirm. Power drive secret attack, man. Roger retracted. Lock all defensive systems.
This couldn't have been the trailer.
Dark Star. They're not lost in space. They're loose.
Must have been. I mean, what the fuck? Oh god. It does feel like too high quality for a real old trailer. What about this? God, that always makes me think of Mario Kart, because I used it for my Mario Kart 8 intro. Why is this the whammy trailer? I don't understand. I don't know. I guess that must have been the trailer. There's not really anything else here. What's this? Here we go. Look at this.
Years from home,
This feels right.
they faced alien life forms
Want your mouse?
and major deprivation.
Storage Area 9 self-destructed last week and destroyed the ship's entire supply of toilet paper.
Now they are about to boldly go totally out of their heads.
The bomb has malfunctioned. I have activated automatic dampers. This is all I can do at this time. It's up to you now.
Are you willing to entertain a few concepts?
I think he's talking to it.
Bombed out in space.
How do you know that the evidence your sensory apparatus reveals to you is correct?
I wish I had more time to discuss this matter.
Why don't you have more time?
Because I must detonate in 75 seconds.
With a spaced-out bomb in John Carpenter's Dark Star.
Okay, that was a commercial for it, but that's pretty good. That actually seemed like it was trying to be humorous. And to be honest, that made me feel like, you know, with the right sort of pacing and if it were cut differently, it could have been funny. It could have actually been a funny film, but instead it was really slow and boring. It's like if you watched it sped up, the comedy would work better. Basically. Let's see if there's any freaks in here. I have a feeling there's going to be some weird stuff in here. Eh. Come on, there must be somebody whose life was ruined by viewing this film. Or completed. Those are the ones we care about here. We don't care about whatever. Why do so many people seem to think that they are like amateur professional reviewers? Why do they write these like anybody's reading them? It's so bizarre. The ones that are like written like it's an article. I don't understand. Well, okay, yeah. I mean, we are. You know what I'm saying, though. Like, apart from when we pop in here to check this shit out, ain't nobody coming around to read this crap. Super reviewer. Oh my god. Yeah, this is not. I can tell this is not interesting, but they sure wrote a lot. Yeah, this is basically just slop for the big AI machine, feeding at the trough. Nobody could even bring themselves to come in here and write a manifesto about their divorce or something. Jesus Christ, my guy. Yeah, no, we'll probably never find one as unhinged as that one was. Yeah. Like, even when they're long, that doesn't mean they're good. Like, this doesn't have any life story in it. I need some life story here. Yeah, it was for They Live. It was insane. It was like the guy's entire id was resting on They Live. Control F divorce. uh, worth a shot. Oh. Man, if we did get one of those manifestos on this movie, it would be, I feel like it would be the most unhinged. Yeah, these aren't very fun, these ones. They're just disappointing. I think we have enjoyed Dark Star as much as we possibly could here. So let's switch gears. Yeah, there were a few that had HTML in them. Now, in the Mouth of Madness, I liked a lot. It is Sam Neill. That's Alan Grant right there. He just seen a dinosaur. You know what? I never look at Metacritic. I think I'm going to scratch it off of our list. I don't think it would ever have anything good for us anyway. Also, neither of these had subreddits. I'm disappointed to tell you. Neither of them. I didn't expect them to, but yeah. Yeah, I would say so. This is one that I just never got around to watching back in the day. Um, a roommate of mine way back when tried to get me to watch it, and I don't remember why, but it just we never got around to it. And also, I'm a big Sam Neill fan. I think that he's great. So it's always lovely to catch a film that he's in. Um, it was pretty fucking weird, and I will say throughout, it is yeah, it is banned. I doubt that it was related to the film, but um, throughout this movie, I was thinking of Alan Wake a lot. This felt like it felt like it was in the same universe almost. Made me wonder if this was perhaps some inspiration, maybe. But yeah, I thought it was very enjoyable. The effects were fun and held up pretty well, I thought. Yeah, I think there was a bit of that. I can agree that there was a bit too much exposition-y stuff. And there was some weirdness in terms of the sort of logic of this universe, whatever if you could even call it that. Um, but I liked the way that it was put together and the way that it played out. And I didn't really know what to expect going in. I I had sort of in my head this idea that it was a more serious movie, but I wasn't really let down by what it actually was. I think I kind of had some sort of assumptions in my head for a while. Oh, it's definitely, well, the thing is, Alan Wake also is very Stephen King. And I think is Stephen King is referenced in Alan Wake various times. Uh, and he's brought up in this movie as well, in almost the same kind of way. Like Sutter Kane is essentially Alan Wake, but it's like, I mean, it's really similar. It's really rather similar. Oh, Lovecraft is mentioned. Oh, and it's even derived from At the Mountains of Madness, apparently. So I will say that overall, I don't think that it was like, it wasn't mind blowing. Um, and I think ultimately it'll be kind of forgettable for me, but it was still enjoyable to watch. And it was pretty interesting. At the Mountains of Madness is the main inspiration for Alien? What? And most notably Prometheus? Wild. Night, Em. I think there was quite a lot of things in this that I liked quite a bit. Um, I thought the character dialogue and interactions was really good. There was a number of scenes that I liked that I thought were actually interesting, like the little exchanges that Trent has with the townspeople once they're there. I also really liked the transition into Hobbs End. I thought that that was really really cool. Oh, lay it on us, Dab. What do you got? Oh, what Omni said. Human interaction was monitored by the Interplanetary Psychiatric Association. The body count was high. The casualties are heavy. Huh? I'm missing this connection here. So you're saying that was in the credits of In the Mouth of Madness? Is that referencing something? I'm not familiar. Or I'm not remembering, I guess, probably. Or is it just sort of a little gag? Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't see that. Lost my train of thought. Oh, I thought that the transition into the sort of insane world was really well done, where he's sleeping and she's just driving, and there's the kid rides by, and then something rides by, uh, and him saying he won't let me leave. That was really cool. I just liked that, how that sort of introduced that it was this kind of like a sort of a pocket dimension type of situation. And it also kind of illustrated that time is also uh, possibly screwed up in this place. And the bit where the car is just driving on nothing and all that stuff. I just thought that was all really well done. There was one scene where like this grandpa was handcuffed. That lost me. Yeah, so the old guy that's chained to her, like, I mean, that was referenced earlier on. So they were saying that, like, she is the old lady who was referenced as being a character in the book when they're arguing about whether like what's really happening is real or a hoax or whatever. They shout about that woman in particular killing her, like grotesquely chopping up her husband or whatever. Yeah, into coleslaw. Yes, thank you, Arfie. And so when he went down to talk to her, just before you see that, she is acting weird, and he's like still not accepting that any of this is real. And then for the audience, the camera goes down and shows this fucking naked old guy chained to her leg. And so you know it's real, basically, is what it was. And I think it was just meant to be, it's just meant to be visually shocking, which it was. Another thing that was kind of interesting to me while watching this film was the fact that this came out after Jurassic Park. This was basically the next thing that Sam Neill did. And Sam Neill kind of went on a wild journey, I feel. You know? Yeah, Jurassic Park came out in 93. This came out in, apparently in 94 in Italy, but in early 1995. And then was Event Horizon his next movie? Film, yeah, 1997. So this probably would have been the next film that he did. Here we go. Filmography. Right. So, he was busy. Okay. So he did 3 films in 93, one of which was Jurassic Park. 3 in 94, one of which was in the Mouth of Madness. And then Event Horizon. I think, are these basically my Sam Neill films? I'm trying to think of anything else I know him from. He must have just been in a lot of stuff that didn't make it, really. I don't really recognize. I recognize Thor Ragnarok, but really? I don't remember that. Well, maybe. Was he in the fake play? It was fucking Sam Neill? What the fuck? Yeah, I saw this. That was just sad. They need to stop. Please stop. Oh well. Anyway. It was just funny because Jurassic Park to me, I feel like it still feels like it just stands up really well as a film in all the ways you would expect a film to. Like, it's visually checks all the boxes. The story is good, the pacing is good, etc. And then when you watch In the Mouth of Madness feels much more of its time to me. It feels older than Jurassic Park, even though I knew that it was not. Yeah, very 90s. That's probably because of like there's more sort of exposure to like 90s fashion, 90s vehicles, so on and so forth. Jurassic Park is kind of isolated away and is its own thing, apart from like what the Jeeps, the Ford Explorers. Everybody's wearing really sort of vague clothes fashion wise, so it doesn't really have anything that's like that was markedly 90s. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about Jurassic Park, god damn it. But yeah, I mean, on the whole, I really liked the general setup of the story and the way that it played out. The sort of the beginning where you don't know him, you don't know what's going on, and they're just putting him in this asylum. And that whole setup really built a lot of intrigue. And then it basically just cuts to the whole fucking story from there. It just goes into it. And the way it builds from him being just totally skeptical about the whole fucking thing, and then slowly but surely it, chips away. I will say he definitely became one of those characters where you start to get irritated after a while of like, fucking come on, man. What's it going to take, man? I like the part in which the weird runs in and says, fuck you, and then runs away. What was this? What was that? The weird guy runs in, says, fuck you, and then runs away. Oh. When he's on the street. Yeah, that moment for me was very much like, that was the one moment where it jumped into my face. Like, oh yeah, I'm watching a John Carpenter movie. I don't know what it is about that, but that just felt like, oh yeah, Carpenter did this. It wasn't like he ran in and ran away. He was headed to the group, and then he just sort of turns to Sam Neill's character and just says, fuck you, and then just goes on for no reason at all. Didn't attack him. I thought that the sort of like the demon version of uh Linda from the car was really, really good. Um, Not incredible. I mean, there was definitely stuff about it that did not hold up to today very well, particularly the fake head. But what really got me was after he gets out of the car and her head sticks out from behind the car door in a way that you're just like, it's such an unexpected place for her to pop out. It makes you imagine that her neck just extended. And then yeah, the crackling noises and the way the body moved. But the thing that ruined it was the sort of fake head, because I don't know what they were thinking there, but that head, that face on that fake head did not look like her face at all. It looked like they just went and found a brunette mannequin head and put it put it there. It was just like, they all look the same. I think it also was because, like, with a person, you would expect them to go to the window. So the fact that she stuck her head out there, and just also the way they filmed it, I really latch on to stuff like that because I there's something about like when a well done shot gives me a feeling, I just really I don't forget it because it goes into like this library in my mind. It kind of reminds me of like the scariest stuff sometimes is actually really simple stuff. Like Jacob's Ladder. The whole thing with the sort of people with the blurry heads was such a genius effect. It works so fucking well. And I can't forget it. And it's simply done. It's not like a complicated special effect. They just they set it up well and they used it well, and that's what's great about it. You know, they just have them, they're kind of like behind other people, they're far away. And then they what they did was simply just they had them, you know, shaking their head side to side, and then they just removed frames from that, and it made it unnatural and unearthly and whatever, and it just works. So, and I feel like there was a couple of things that approached that kind of like, this is actually genius usage of really simple stuff, you know, without being overly try hard. Which I do feel like that's something that I think we don't tend to see as often. I don't know if it was invented in Jacob's Ladder, but maybe Jacob's Ladder did a lot of things that were that inspired a lot of other things. Like Silent Hill takes a lot from Jacob's Ladder. It's great in Jacob's Ladder, yeah. That's a really creepy movie. Um, but I feel like that's kind of one of those things where it's like born out of the limitations of the time when they couldn't just, you know, uh, hire and underpay a CG studio to shit out whatever, you know, someone says. I know this is Luddite talk, but like, I don't know. I just feel like I've really rarely see stuff like that in newer films that really catches my eye. The only really close to recent thing I can think of that had some shots in it that made me feel that way was Hereditary. Anyway, um, it kind of seems like we're all kind of on the same page with this one of like enjoyed, not amazing, don't have super strong feelings. Like, I would call it good. It's not going to go on like my list of favorites ever or anything like that, but I would call it good. Yeah, what are your strong feelings, Dav? We don't all have to agree, by the way. It's on your list of favorites. In the film, the works of Sutter Kane are occasionally quoted. Most, if not all, of these quotes are actually taken directly from several H.P. Lovecraft short stories, with some adaptations to fit them into the film story. Most notably in the scene where Styles reads to Trent as he gazes into the abyss. Her speech lifts much of its description, including such elements as the illimitable gulf of the unknown from the last few paragraphs of Lovecraft's The Rats in the Walls. In an earlier scene as well, Trent reads a line verbatim from Lovecraft's The Haunter of the Dark, in reference to the Black Church being the seat of an evil older than mankind and wider than the known universe. Hob is an old word used to refer to the devil. Huh. I didn't know this. And I don't remember Prince of Darkness. Hayden Christensen's feature film debut. I don't really know this. Who is this? Oh, wait. No, I'm not sure. Whoever this is, I don't recognize. Who are you? I've not seen basically any of these things. Oh, wait, Hayden, Anakin. Anakin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch these because they suck. That's why I didn't know who it was. The car keys that Julie Carmen swallows when Sam Neill is trying to escape from town were made out of pasta. That's crazy. The building used as the mental institution at the beginning of the film is actually a water filtration plant in the beaches area of Toronto. It has been the scene of other movies, including The Island Fortress in Undercover Brother. Filming can no longer take place inside this building following the September 11th terrorist attacks on the USA. What? Why? I guess because it would be like a target. Yeah, infrastructure, I suppose. Also, this came out in 2002, but I guess it would have been filmed before 9/11. References to the old ones by Sutter Kane, along with certain representations of monsters printed on his books and latter brought to life, are allusions to the Cthulhu mythos, a series of stories by Lovecraft and continued by other writers into modern times, much to my dismay. In this sense, one could consider In the Mouth of Madness John Carpenter's own contribution to the Cthulhu mythos. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. The Sutter Kane character is clearly based on John Carpenter's friend Stephen King, even referencing King's New England roots, with Hobbs End filling in for King's Castle Rock. Carpenter directed a film version of King's Christine, 1983, Additionally, Michael DeLuca had previously written the screenplay for the King adaptation, The Lawnmower Man. However, the characters say that Sutter Kane is even more popular than Stephen King. Yeah. So basically, Stephen King already had the idea. The 6 Sutter Kane novels, which Trent uses to track down the town of Hobbs End, are the following. I liked that, by the way, that the whole like cutting up the covers to put the puzzle together. The Hobbs End Horror, The Feeding, The Whisper in the Dark, Something in the Cellar, The Breathing Tunnel, Haunter Out of Time. Also, these titles are direct references to Lovecraft's works, a direct inspiration for the movie. These are The Dunwich Horror, The Whisperer in the Darkness, The Rats in the Walls, The Thing in the Doorstep, The Shadow Out of Time, and The Haunter of the Dark. Also, the title of the movie refers to At the Mountains of Madness, yet another work of Lovecraft's. Blah, 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 blah. When a hand breaks through the glass of Sam Neill's cell, a piece of fake glass cut his neck. Well, then what was the point of the fake glass? Sounds pretty real. How do you mean, Maury? Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I liked that aspect. That was interesting. Okay, I think we've kind of exited the interesting trivia zone. Let us watch the trailer, the official trailer, on Scream Factory TV, now on Blu-ray. Jesus, Halloween was 1978? Starman? What's Starman?
This one will drive you absolutely mad.
The riots began because the stores could not meet the demands of Sutter Kane's novel, In the Mouth of Madness.
Kane disappeared 2 months ago without a trace.
Isn't the guy that writes horror books?
You can forget about Stephen King. Kane outsells them all. I need to know if he's alive or dead, and I need that book.
It's a setup. I just have to work out how it's set up.
Kane's writing has been known to have an effect on his readers.
I loved that scene where the guy comes across the street.
This whole thing has been staged.
You just get out.
This is not reality.
It's all happening for real, Trent.
This is a good trailer. This is how you do a trailer.
I know this book will drive people crazy.
Let's hope so. The movie comes out next month.
Oh yeah, I liked him going to watch himself on the film. It was quite good. Yeah, that's a good trailer. I like that one. Yeah, I don't know. The trailer, I felt more hyped about it than I expected to, even though I just watched the movie the other day. Maybe it's in higher esteem than I'm giving it credit for, Dav. We're looking for freaks. There's a Lovecraft connection, so I would say there's a good chance of freaks. I mean, all of these people are freaks, but I'm looking for the freaks of the freaks. Also, while we're digging here, what do we have next up on the list for the enjoyers? Freak to the freak. What? So much potential. That's what people say when something sucks. So stop saying it to your kids, you jerks. Oh, what? Saying that you have potential? Okay. Hey, hey. Years ago, I read a thick collection of Lovecraft's writings, and two of my favorite video games ever are loosely based on his mythology, Eternal Darkness and Alan Wake. Alan Wake particularly plays out almost exactly like the plot of this movie, so I was very fond to go exploring its Stygian darkness, even if it didn't quite live up to how horrific the worlds of Lovecraft are described. Okay, so the only thing that anybody has mentioned that is actually viable is Old Dune. I feel like I have to work myself up to that one because that shit has every time I have crossed paths with it, it has put me to sleep. And we might be able to entertain such things, Dav. I don't know if necessarily we want to do that next. Also, I think it'll be hard for people to track down a single episode in the middle of Stargate's 8,000 episodes. It's much easier to track down a movie, you know? Of people who sign theirs at the end. Unfortunately, it's just a wannabe professional critic type of write-up. This was horrible. My coworker said this was the scariest movie he has ever seen, but that was total BS. Yeah, maybe Rotten Tomatoes isn't the gold mine that I thought it was. I mean, we did find gold at least the one time, but now it makes it all the worse when I'm just trying to find anything and it's just all muck. It's just muck. You probably have to do just a lot more digging than what I'm doing live and on the fly.
I wonder why this happens. Like, are they aggregating their reviews from somewhere? Is that what's happening here? They suck in reviews from other websites or something? Because that might explain more of the, like, amateur wannabe professional critic type write-ups, you know? This one almost seemed like it was going to be a life story, but sadly, it was not. All right. I think I have to throw in the towel. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel it was good. I'm glad to have watched it. I enjoyed it quite a lot. It was a pretty good flick. Well, The Thing for me is one of my personal favorite films. I'm not sure what I would pair it with. Quit trying to do episodes, although you are not wrong. You are not wrong. Well, maybe we can think on it a bit and then come to a decision in the old movies channel on the Discord. But that's going to do it for this Enjoyers Committee, my friends. Thanks for checking out these films with me. The dogs have such good ears for when I'm doing, like, starting to go on my wrap up. I heard some, like, and I look over and both of them are on the edge of the couch, standing on the arm of the couch, and both of them have their heads turned directly at me. The ending voice, yeah. But yeah, this was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed trying out some different movies, maybe that you wouldn't have otherwise watched. I mean, these were both new to me, and it was pretty interesting. I don't think I'll ever watch Dark Star again, but I could see myself maybe watching In the Mouth of Madness again. I liked it all right. Anywho, y'all have a beautiful night, and I will see you tomorrow.